we might be able to get it.
Hello, my friends. It's Ryan Skinner here. Hope you are doing good out there. I say hello to you again from the basement. My gross, disgusting beard says hello to you as well. It'll be getting shaved off again soon. Just wanted to do a little video here, kind of breaking down year number 3 of the Falls Chronicles, and it was a year. I don't have to tell you guys out there how the last 12 to 15 months has been pretty crazy around the world, and when we were shooting the very last episode of year 2 of the Falls Chronicles, episode 24, Ashton Axe, that was right when it started to get pretty bad in the world. That was April 2020, and we were starting to go into year number 3. It felt only natural to kind of make what was going on in the world a part of the show. It being a mockumentary deal, it felt that pulling from the real world made sense. So much of the Falls already is based on real stuff in terms of, James Skay is so much of James McShay's character is James Skay, so much of Dragon is Ray, so much of Troll is really Tom, and with other characters as well.
Wear a collar with a bomb around your neck, and when you go so many feet from they don't tell you who your partner, who you're linked with, but when you go so many feet, it starts, so you have to all get back together.
And also, characters like Jerry and Mr. Colby were so, and the end of the world was such a kind of big theme throughout the show, and not necessarily even the end of the world, but the world changing, crazy events happening, big shifts in the planet, alternate realities, all these big ideas. So it only felt kind of appropriate to just embrace it and make it part of the show. I think in the past volumes, getting over past mistakes was a huge theme, and I think with the Falls Chronicles, for a while, it was definitely confronting stuff that might be coming down the pipe instead of worrying about the past. But I think for year 3, it might be a bit of a mix of those two elements. And again, like I said, these characters, whether it's Dragon or James or Tom or Rebecca or Hayes or Earl, these guys have, you really get to see them, I think, evolve, and like I said before, make decisions about what's coming down the pipe that are kind of informed by the past and wanting to finally change and wanting to finally slay some demons, and just letting go. And it felt like, especially with Tom, who plays Troll, him finally just letting go and seeing his niece and trying to help others. It felt like in episode 33 above, when he went off to rehab, that was his arc, that was his big choice. And seeing his niece now was almost, it still took a lot for him to go do that, but it was almost like he had the strength now to do it because of what he did in episode 33. And with Dragon letting the fire, embracing the flame again, was again kind of like when he first put down the water towers. It was fire with a purpose, or at least his thinking was that it had a purpose. And this was, bringing Genevieve home. And James, I think, confronting Eddie and confronting Arthur Shiloh, played by Dan Severn, and I think in a way realizing the past is the past. I'm the kid with the pipe, still kind of always, but I don't have to just be that guy. And kind of realizing, I have to, in some weird way, make peace with the past, while at the same time, again, like these other characters, use it for something good, and maybe use my obsession or OCDness or my unwillingness to let stuff go for a greater good. At the same time, you can't let the past kind of consume you, because what Arthur says to him is, hey man, if you can learn to harness the past, you can do a lot of stuff with it. You can make magic out of it. But I think he also realizes, maybe I've let the past kind of define me too much and consume me too much, and now it's time to go to do something with it that's greater than just cleaning up the parks or doing some good stuff for people. Maybe it's time to take something, to take this to the next level. But I think there's a lot of truth too in what Arthur And what Arthur told him as well, I think that hits home for James too.
I told Eddie, you never forget the things that motivate you, that haunt you. And if you harness them, you can make magic out of them.
I think Rebecca was kind of one of the most obvious arcs in terms of she became a mom, and I think in some respects grew up a little, and I hate to have a character that is defined, especially a female character that's defined by just being a parent. But I think it kind of grounded her a bit, and she was already on her way to making progress in her life and doing, good stuff with her life and rebounding, especially after we first saw her in Volume 1. And I think getting over the water tower, but again, naming her girl Jenny was one of those things that it's moving on, but at the same time still kind of honoring the past in a way. So she definitely grew up a bit in front of her eyes. Everything Mr. Colby has to go through, letting Genevieve go, but at the same time kind of realizing, look, if she comes back, she comes back.
Man, Genevieve, I'm still looking for her. But Uncle A, I'm going to find her.
Reality is, though, sometimes people are on their own path. You just got to let them be.
Byron and Kyle, I think, in a certain respect, Byron, I think, letting some of the guilt go of maybe not being there for Jenny enough back in the day, and I think Kyle realizing, look, I'm not the new dragon, I'm not the new anything, no one's the new anything, we are who we are. So it's a mix, I feel like, probably in terms of people dreading stuff that might be coming, while at the same time still getting over some past stuff. I mean, Hayes also had one of the craziest arcs, and that she really, I think, when you really look at it, might have changed the most out of all the characters we've seen inside the Falls universe, because she really kind of let stuff go on a really epic scale, and her and Timmy kind of become friends, and she has a bit of a epiphany almost about kind of letting things go and realizing that, like, these things that I worry about so much, the creek or the environment or all the stuff I protest about, these are just, things that are just a part of me, but they're not everything about me. She clearly has an entrepreneur side to her. She clearly has a capitalist kind of side to her, and kind of wants more out of her life. And you see in Claire kind of elements of the old version of Hayes, but also her own character as well. So
I tested the pH in the creek the other day. I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried.
I'm sorry. Is that what this is all about? I couldn't make it that day.
The creek will always be there whenever you want to test it.
Yeah, but I'd rather do it with you, Claire. Like, that's it. Just you and me, like the way old things were. You're right. I'm sorry I haven't been around. And it's really not about Earth being ripped out for a grab mart or for a creek. That's just dirt and water. Like, who cares?
Hayes goes through a lot. I think Garrett, who plays Earl, went through, when you really think about it, also went through a lot. The entire eventual arc to begin to fly again, or to make the choice to start to fly again, is huge, because this is a guy that a few years ago when we first met him wanted nothing to do with that. Kem and Edgar, played by Johnny, and Kem played by Alec. Those guys were great, and all the stuff they did with Quiet Josh and Rose, and Mike A, and all those guys. And that second to last episode, Nights, was its own finale. I mean, it's the second to last episode of the Chronicles, but it felt like almost like its own finale, in that these were stories that we were continuing and in some ways wrapping up. It felt like Nights and Oz were almost two parts of the same finale, in a sense of this was such a big storyline with the Lincoln Kid and with Shit City going away, with Grabmar coming in, that these guys were going to have one final standoff and send off with the Lincoln Kid, which I loved.
It's like the Phantom Menace. Dual fates. One Sith, two Jedi.
There you are.
these stories will continue. I mean, the Lincoln Kid and a lot of the stuff we did in the Fitzhugh Files, a lot of the stuff we did and set up in Potato Town, a lot of stuff we set up in earlier Falls Chronicles episodes will continue inside the Falls universe. This is meant to be a universe. It is meant to be something that continues and expands, and we do different shows, and it is meant to be a kind of grounded version of the Marvel universe. In some respects, it's maybe the Star Trek universe is a better example, but you know, these shows that take place inside the same universe, and some that are maybe a little funnier than others, some that are a little bit darker than others. So these arcs and these stories, while in some respects did definitely wrap up with the Falls Chronicles, it's still a progression. Like, we're still going to come back to some of these stories, and we're obviously going to come back to a lot of these characters as well. Really quick before I sign off, you guys, if you watched all the way to the end of Oz, you saw a little bit of a tease, I guess, if you will, for McShane Incorporated. That'll be the next show we do inside the Falls universe. The intent right now is to have it still kind of, you know, have the feel of a lot of Falls stuff that we've done, but really to be different, like in some cases maybe very different as you do that show. I think you might be able to tell pretty early on that, oh, this is similar in some respects, but very, very different in other respects in terms of maybe tone and maybe some of the topics we tackle. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be out in Christmas time. We'll start dropping some little teasers and stuff like that, probably sometime in the fall. I love you. You're the best. We'll be talking soon. The basement loves you. Enjoy summer. Enjoy the warm weather. Hopefully where you are, it's warm. Enjoy 2021, and hopefully the world getting back to a little bit more normal and better days coming. You're the best. I love you. We'll be talking soon.